I am a certified yoga therapist with over 900 hours in different trainings. I started working with women in perimenopause and menopause right after I finished graduating my program at Mount Royal University. And it's been extremely eye-opening. And um, at first, it's a little scary to realize how many people are actively suffering. Um, but there's a lot that you can do. And yoga classes are kind of like, here's a one size fits all. It's probably going to help most people. And then what I do is therapeutic yoga. So everything has a purpose. There's nothing in any of the classes that is like, this would probably work for most people. Um, just as a disclaimer, you do have to be extremely careful if you have high blood pressure, heart conditions, cancer, or any other serious diagnosis. Yoga is incredibly healing. The whole purpose of yoga is healing. Um, but it can be kind of misused. So, for example, when I started doing yoga, I really liked active yoga, really physical yoga, really busy yoga. I loved it. It's not that it was bad for me, but it's that I needed to calm down. I needed to settle down. I needed to stop and go slower. So, the active yoga actually, for me, I didn't cause any injury. I'm really, really lucky that way. But it isn't necessarily the best choice for me. So here's your little disclaimer. I'm going to use my phone. I love Insight Timer. It keeps me on track. It's going to give me an interval bell. So when you sign up for the 21 days to fix your sleep, you're going to hear an interval bell every interval. Like we have it for 10 minutes because that's what we're working with. 10, 10, 10. It's a 30-minute class. This one's going to be a little bit shorter because it's just the idea is to get you going with an idea of what is involved. So when you join, you get a link to a playlist that's private. Only people that have paid for that actually get access to the playlist. And you can use this forever. I have participants that have done this challenge more than once, and I have some that just go through and do pick and choose what they want to work on. It also comes with a bonus, a recording of the guided meditation, which I do at the end of every class. At the beginning of every class, I light a candle. The candle is symbolic in that we are welcoming in, bringing in the energy of acknowledging that there is a higher power at play here. It's this idea of the unseen hand. So if you believe in if you think of it like this, puppetry, there's what you can see on stage on the show. This is the puppet bouncing around. And then there are people that are holding the puppet strings. In our lives, there are so many elements of things outside of our control, outside of our sphere of influence, outside of our awareness that are nonetheless affecting us because they are setting up traffic jams or they're making doctors late or they're, you know, all these circumstances have to work out in order for us to end up at the right place at the right time. So the classes are always designed the same way. There's some kind of a warm up after we acknowledge that there's a higher power at play. Some kind of a physical warm up. I show you several different kinds. And then as the days grow, you get to pick the ones that you want to work on, which is pretty awesome, actually, because then if you don't like particular ones that I do, you don't have to do those. I teach you how to do the other kinds so that you can pick the ones that work best for you. Then we have some kind of physical challenge. So it's a 1 minute challenge, which, I mean, you can do anything for 1 minute. And then we have a series of movements that are usually contrasting movements that get the body moving, get the blood flowing. You've already been warmed up and you've had a challenge. And so moving is the natural next step. And then we move into a guided meditation. And the guided meditation at the end has only one purpose, and that's to relax your body and mind and get you ready for sleep. So I'm going to take off my slippers and socks. You can do this just before bed, and it will get you ready for sleep. However, when I was recording the classes, I had to do a lot of them during the day just because of my schedule. And it still worked. It still worked. I went from not sleeping most nights. I was having rough sleeps probably 5 nights a week, maybe a couple good nights a week. And I flipped that the other way. After I did the sleep challenge the first time, I started sleeping well most nights. And then when I do wake up, I have a plan. I know exactly what to do. I teach you what to do when you wake up. And after you reinforce this day after day, you'll remember and you'll start doing it yourself when, well, if and when you wake up. So I'm putting the event in all the information on my website in the chat, and hopefully that will show up and then people can look at, the details and how to sign up. We are starting on Thursday, but if Thursday doesn't work for you, that's okay. We don't have to do, you don't have to start with everybody else. The way the challenge is designed is you can start whenever works for you. So I have debated all day, like, do I want to start from standing or do I want to start from sitting? Because there are different ways to do the warm up. And I think I'm going to do from standing just because it's a little bit easier. I don't have the same room. I'm not in the same room as I was when I did the recordings in the first place. So it looks a little bit different. And I'm going to change the camera angle just so that you can see my feet. So I like to work from the bottom up. First, we get into a mountain pose. You can lift up the toes. Lifting up the toes actually really helps you to feel where your feet are in contact with the ground. And then you lower the toes and just feel those 2 points behind the big toe, the point behind the little toe, and the point in the middle of the heel, and let them ground through into the earth. Just imagine that you're like that little guy on the top of the cake and you're pushing your feet into the cake, grounding down. Once you get that and you feel comfortable, switch the weight to one side and start with an ankle roll. So this is a Korean warm-up that I learned. It's called Move Your All Joints. You're moving all of the joints in the body. So circling in one direction and then circling in the other. Make sure to be taking long, smooth, complete inhales and exhales. I don't time it. I just kind of go based on how I'm feeling. Transfer the weight to the other side. Lift up the foot and circles with the other foot. Circling the ankle. You're thinking like 4 or 5 times in one direction and then in the other. Should be good enough. Now, the benefit of working with the recordings is, let's just say that your feet feel really uncomfortable and that's not enough for you. You can stop the recording and do it more. Or if it's feeling pretty good, you come down, knees bent, and just making little circles. So the yoga that I do is more targeted for us in perimenopause. It kind of assumes that we might be stiff and sore. We might have cracky knees. We might need a little bit more time to wind down. And you are the one who's the boss about what you do and you don't do. And as the courses goes on and the classes develop, you learn more and more about your body, how you're comfortable moving, how you're not comfortable moving, and you make more and more choices. I always give you lots of options, hands on the hips and circles. You don't have to make these big circles. Circling in one direction. And I'm going a little bit faster than I would normally go because I don't want to have the sample class take too long. I also really don't want anybody assuming that they can just do this sample class and it's going to work for them because it's not enough. Hands on the shoulders, circling through the elbows. So here you're moving all your entire upper back, getting into the thoracic spine, opening everything up. Same thing, 4 or 5 times in one direction. And then the other way. It's good to sigh out. When you sigh, you release a lot of tension. You can let the arms come down. And then think of it like you have a little pointer on your chin and you're going to make circles on the wall. So drawing a circle, getting into the neck. We want to be really careful here, especially if we do a lot of work on the computer, if we get headaches, or if we get dizzy. Taking your time, not going too fast, switching whenever you're ready. And then look all the way to one side. Try and look right behind you. Breathing in, forward, and then the other side. Breathing in. I'm going to do that again. Whatever we do on one side, we do on the other. If you want to go a little bit deeper with whatever we're doing, we do it again. So if we were doing the class and you got stuck on that, you can stop the class and do that move again. So I do lead you through everything, but I leave a lot up to the participant to decide how they want to participate. Let's say you're having problems with your shoulder. Maybe you don't want to do this one. So then you don't. You just stick to looking to one side and looking to the other. It's very flexible practice. So now we've moved everything. We've moved everything. You can move your wrists if you want. If you feel like anything's not done, you can go ahead and do it again. All right. And then we come down onto the floor. So there's a lot of getting down and getting up again in yoga. And that's because we're using all of our abdominal muscles. We're using every muscle we have in the body, getting up and sitting down. Okay, that's my chair. Sometimes I use props, but whenever I use props in the class, I always give you fair warning that at the beginning, I'll say, oh, we're going to need a towel, or we're going to use a pillow, or if you have a bolster, make sure that you have it so that you're not like guessing what you're going to need. But because they're recorded classes, you can at any time stop the recording. So there's a nice little seated flow that you can do. This is in one of the classes. First, you just start, get grounded, pull one foot in. Now, this might not be comfortable for you. And if it's not, and the foot ends up here, that's fine. Just try bend the knee and see if you can bring the foot forward. This is the reason why it's 21 days. It's 21 days because you're building your skill. You're stacking on top of one skill after the other, just as if I was teaching music. And you can't see my foot here, but I'm keeping the foot active and flexed. So once you get stable and you feel like you're secure, you can breathe in. And then just rotate to the side, breathing out. Exhale, coming down. And you may only come to here. That's fine. The point isn't to overextend. We're unwinding the stress of the day. And if you can bend forward more. If it feels comfortable, if it starts to not feel comfortable, you just back off. A stretch should feel active. You should feel that there's something going on, but it should never be painful and it shouldn't be even uncomfortable. Especially with the stuff in the thigh area. You don't want to hurt hamstrings. You'll notice how I'm taking my time here. I'm going to think about it a little bit. We're unwinding. Letting go, exhaling completely. I'm pulling the toes back. The toe pull is particularly good for us in perimenopause and postmenopause. And then you can come back up. And then from here, you can do a seated twist. So right leg is forward. So right hand comes behind the body. Inhaling, chest lifts. Exhaling, look behind you. Inhaling, chest lift. Exhaling, look behind. And again, I like to do it at least 3 times. Inhaling back to center. And then you can come to the side. Right hand comes over the top. So I'm opening up the side body. Breathing into the rib cage. And you can stay here as long as you're comfortable. And when you're ready, when you inhale to come up, inhaling back to neutral, changing the feet here. So in the videos, I do a better job of framing everything because I have more space and I had a better setup. I'm in a different room, so I don't usually have to have everything viewable, but you do the same thing. So maybe the foot's out here. It really just depends on how you're feeling, how comfortable you are. It should feel like something is happening, but not uncomfortable. Same thing, foot is flexed, heel is out. Think of it like that Fred Flintstone break. Can inhale when you're ready. Turning now to the other side and exhaling, coming down. So maybe you only come down a little bit. Maybe this arm stays here. Experiment with how you feel. Maybe you can grab the toes. Maybe you can't. It doesn't matter. It's not about grabbing the toes. It's about unwinding, exhaling, letting go of the stress of the day, feeling the body, allowing yourself to move and breathe in a comfortable fashion. And I may stay here longer, depending on how my body feels. I may stay here longer or shorter. And you're welcome to pick your own pace, take your time. The invitation in the videos is to take your time the whole way through. There's lots of cueing and prompting to go slow and not to force yourself or push yourself in a way that is uncomfortable. And then when you're ready, you can inhale. Come back up to neutral. So you're just sitting straight. From there, you can go into a twist. So left foot is forward, left hand comes behind the body. Twisting to the side and looking behind. Chest will lift on the inhale. Exhale. Look behind you. See if I'm further away. You either can't see my feet or you can't see my face, but you want to inhale and exhale at least 3 times in your twist. And always inhaling, coming back to neutral, giving yourself a moment. And then to the side. Now I'm opening up on the other side. Left side. Opening, inhaling into the ribs. At least 3 times. Sighing out is very active. It's an active way of letting go of grief, pain, suffering, trauma, however you want to look at it. And then to come up, you inhale. So that's a very short form version. There would be more movement involved in a full class. And my bell didn't go off. So I wanted to show you that. There is a bell that goes off about every 10 minutes. So let's see if I can, I'm going to give you a little guided meditation here. Very, very short guided meditation. So the relaxation, I give you lots of options. I show you several different ways. You get to pick the kind you like. You can repeat that as often as you want. You do it enough that you can learn how to do it yourself. And then if you wake up in the night, you can do it yourself, or you can use the little bonus recordings I've made. I like to show how to use props if you have them. If you don't have them, it doesn't matter because I always give you options. And this is my little flower bolster. I call it Fleur. And my favorite of all times is the chest opener. And you can probably see, right? As soon as I lay down, the entire chest opens. Shoulders are rolled back and down effortlessly. I didn't have to do anything. It just happens as soon as I lay down. So you take a moment. I always give you time to get settled. So sometimes if you're using pillows and blankets and bolsters and whatever, it takes a moment to get settled. Okay, so very simple exercise to help your body to relax is going through the guided light meditation. So imagine that at your feet, there's a white light, a beautiful white light. And inside that light, it's a glowing orb and it's filled with relaxation. So first, really imagine that. Is it fluffy? Is it soft? Is it round? Does it have a shape? Is it mist? Really see that white light and then see it starting to envelop first your toes. White light is moving up and bringing relaxation, covering your toes. And then it's moving up into the foot itself, covering the top of the foot and the bottom of the foot in beautiful healing white light. And keep sighing out all of your frustration, your sadness, and see that white light moving up into the ankles. Allowing the feet to just flop to the side. Feet are totally relaxed. White light moving up from the ankle, up the calf, the shin, enveloping slowly the entire bottom leg, covering the whole leg below the knee in white light. And then moving up to envelop the knee relaxes. Now your toes, your feet, your ankle, your calves, your knees are relaxed. And then moving up the thighs, the top of the thighs and the back of the thighs, relax. Into your bottom on the floor, relaxing, and your pelvic bowl, your tummy. Even your belly button is relaxing into the body, becoming closer to the floor. There's more of you relaxing on the floor as you move up into the rib cage. So the whole lower body is covered in white light. Moving up the back to the mid back and the upper back, opening up through the chest. Everything below the heart is covered in white light now. Moving up into the top chest, the top of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, down both arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms and fingers, all relaxed. Whole body below the neck, covered in white light. And then moving up the back of the head, the back of the skull, all the way up to the top of the head and the forehead, covering in white light down the eyebrows and your eyelashes and your eyelids, and down the cheeks and the nose, covering the top lip and the jaw, the bottom lip, your chin, your throat, whole body covered in white light. Whole body relaxing on the floor. Whole body held in loving kindness. And giving your body permission to relax here. And then because all of the classes are recorded, you can just turn off the recording. Many of my clients will go to bed with the last 10 minutes of the recording and listen to it with their earbuds while they're laying down and then immediately go to sleep. You can just turn it off and stay in this position for 10, 20 minutes, allowing your body to just breathe, visualizing that white light covering the whole body and bringing that relaxation into every cell, all of your bones and muscle laying on the ground. And then if you are laying on a bolster, you roll to one side. You can bring the knees up if you want. And give yourself a few moments before you go up to seated again. And when you're ready, you take a deep breath and push the floor away using your hands to get up. So there's a few things that I didn't share because, this is really special stuff and there's not enough time to do it in a quick little sample. And it is worth the money because I spent, 30 years doing yoga, almost 30 years. And I've got the specific training in the yoga therapy field, so I can design classes that are specific. What I'm doing now more is working directly with clients, but I wanted something that could be used in a way to help people to fix their sleep. And the reason I started with sleep is because running the Canadian peri-menopause support group, I hear the complaints again and again. Now this 3 years I'm running this group. And of the complaints, sleep comes up the most. And sleep affects every area of your life. It will affect how you're working, whether you have any energy to play, how you're dealing with your stress. It'll affect your relationships. It might make you more sensitive. It might make you more depressed because it's difficult. It can be difficult to stay positive about what's happening in your life if you feel tired all the time. And it's unnecessary. So this is a treatment for the stress response, the chronic stress that caregivers get when they're hitting middle age, because we've been taking care of everybody else for most of our lives. And we might still be taking care of small children. A lot of us have small children at home. And it's an incredible thing. When I designed the classes, I thought they should work. The theory was solid. I had talked to different teachers about it, but I didn't know it would work until I did it, and it worked. So I have a client right now who's just gung ho to go on Thursday, and she really wants some participants to work with. So if you've been struggling with sleep, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm a really compassionate person, and I'm not going to give it to you for free because you won't do it. That's what happens. That's what I find again and again. Like, even offering this as a free class, I had 4 people even be interested. Um, but I did it anyway because that's what I do. That's honoring my dad. My dad passed away in January, and he always taught me, whatever you say you're going to do, come hell or high water, you do it, because your word, that's what you have in this life. You have no guarantees. You have what you say to people, and then you have yourself being perceived as reliable because you always do what you say. So if I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And I'm recording this so that I can share it on my YouTube channel. And I think that this particular class, it's 21 days because it takes 21 days to build a habit. It takes 21 days to reprogram your body and mind to remember how to get into deep rest. So let me know if you have any questions about that. I am going to end this now, and I appreciate all of the followers and all of the support. Please purchase things from me so that I can continue doing this work. I need to support myself as well, and I love to help women. So anything that you pay to me will get paid forward 10 times, because I help people for free all the time. I'm just not going to give classes away for free. Okay. Take care, everybody. And as always, the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.